because I'm getting this question a lot and you guys want to know a little bit more about me and my upbringing. So my name's Tash. I have 2 girls, Ava and Aaliyah. They're 10 and Aaliyah's almost 9 next month. I can't believe it. I hate when this freaking happens. I feel like a kid myself, so like I'm always like, I still don't believe that I have, you know, girls who are 10 and almost 9, just because I feel like life has gone so quick, and also I feel like I'm not mentally mature enough to have a 10 and 9-year-old. Yeah. Okay, so I was born in Lebanon. My mum is Filipino, my dad's Lebanese. She went to Lebanon, met my dad there, blah blah blah. My mum was really hated by my dad's family because like back then in the 1990s it wasn't really like common for foreigners, you know, especially in the village that I grew up in, which was Sharri. If anyone is from Sharri, you guys know it is such a beautiful place in Lebanon. If I ever get the opportunity, if I'm lucky enough, I'll definitely be taking my kids there one day. But yeah, anyway, okay, so when I was 2 years old, my dad left. He came to Australia. He was having some issues in Lebanon and he left us. And my mum had nobody. My dad's family didn't like her, so they mentally and physically abused her, unfortunately, and that caused lots of issues for my mum and therefore caused a lot of problems for us, myself and my sisters, growing up there. My mum did try her best, but you know, she was affected very mentally. And I feel like last time I spoke to you guys about my upbringing, I tried to protect my mum so much because I didn't want you guys to know like the full extent of like, I guess, where lots of like trauma that I've experienced in my life has happened. But a lot of it is actually when I lived with my mum, you know. Anyway, that doesn't matter. This is like my point of view. I'm not trying to paint anyone in a bad light. This is just how I've experienced it growing up. So my mum did her best to look after us. My granddad always wanted us, so he would always like try and take us from her, vice versa, which meant that my older sister, who was only 4 at the time, had to literally raise us. Me, who was 2, and my little sister, who was only a couple of weeks old. Sorry about the chewing sound. Shout out to you, my sister. I love you so much. My mum left us with my granddad for a couple of years. She was able to get her, you know, a job, save enough money. She built her own business, but she was going through a lot mentally. Because she was financially stable, she decided to take us from my granddad, and trust me, it wasn't like just, yeah, they're gonna come live with me now. It was a fucking shit fight, okay? So when we lived with my mum, she actually put us in boarding school. And in boarding school, if anyone goes to boarding school, you would know that like on holidays and weekends you would go home. Not always, some weekends you would stay at boarding school. It just depends on the boarding school. But the one that we went to, occasionally on weekends you would, you know, go to your family, and definitely on every holiday you would as well. But my mum, she wouldn't even communicate that she was going to pick us up or not, but the school assumed that she was going to because everyone else was going. There was like not even going to be teachers left at the actual school, but she didn't say anything, and we would be like at the freaking gate just waiting and waiting for hours, and my mum would never show up. And then, you know, the teachers then would have to like stay back with us. They wouldn't be able to go to their families, even though it was like holidays and they would probably want to spend time with their families, but they couldn't because we had nowhere to go. And later on I found out that mum was in and out of hospital, like a mental institute, because yeah, she was suffering a lot. But yeah, and that is like my fear when it comes to my kids, leaving them or being late to like pick them up from school, anything like that. Even a couple of minutes makes me so anxious. So yeah, and then mum's business went bust, and then we had to go like live. She had to have us with her, so then we lived in like a one bedroom studio, and we were so poor. We were so freaking poor that all we had to eat was like a loaf of bread, the Lebanese bread, and we had to eat it like sparingly because we had to last us all week sometimes. Luckily, as I said, I've said this before, but we lived on the beach. The actual studio was on the beach, so we were able to at least go swim and just like suppress our hunger by like just keeping busy. So we'd swim from the time we woke up till we had to go to sleep, just so we can like not think about food. And then there were many times where like my mum was going through so much, she would like lock us up different places. Like, this is the one I was saying, you know, the trend that goes, oh, you're so funny. I'm like, yeah, because like, you know, I was locked up in a room with like no windows, no lights. Well, that happened many times when we were young, and that was my mum doing what she thought was the best thing for us when she went out doing, I don't know what she was up to, but she would like lock us up on like a room on like a roof of a building or whatever. That was like, to me, like, this is how I remember it. There was literally like no lights, no windows. Sometimes like we'd be there for like 3 days till she would come back. And I remember like my sister would like beg her to just like at least not lock the door so we can go outside and like just play on the veranda or just get some fresh air, but she wouldn't, because she was like scared for us. She was worried, but she would lock us in the room, and that was like her way of keeping us safe. But it actually traumatized the shit out of me. And then I turned 9, my dad decided, oh, he's gonna bring us to Australia, thinking, oh, he loves us. But he just wanted us for the settling payment, and he's literally admitted that like multiple times. So 2 weeks into Australia, say you don't know anyone, you don't even know the freaking language, he kicks my mum out. And when I say kicks, it doesn't go, oh, you need to go now. Like, literally has a fight with my mum. There was like a physical altercation. This is my first impression of my dad, because like he wasn't there when I was growing up, so I didn't have any love for him. So this was like a stranger that was literally like beating up on my mum. It was like the worst experience any child could ever experience. And then obviously, like, for her safety, the best thing to do was for her to leave, because like I wasn't sure where sorry, I blabbed on so much, I apologize. Anyway, I either have verbal diarrhea or I just whatever. Anyway, continuing on. So yeah, anyway, he kicks her out. She's got nowhere to stay. She goes to, luckily, like, I don't know, like, this is what she told us, but someone helped her find a refuge to stay at, and then they helped her like go to family court and try and find us, because after she left, he actually tried to like take us away so she wouldn't find us. So he moved us from Marylands all the way to Picton, which is like very far away from each other. The house layout of where we lived was like the main entrance to the house, and so the main house had like the lounge room, the kitchen, and 2 rooms, and then you'd have to like actually exit the main house and go next door sort of. There was another room there where like my sister and I slept, but I hated my dad so much that I actually moved in to the attic that was attached to, this was behind the actual house, so it's not even like part of it, through a garage where he like had his butchery stuff. But there was like stairs up to an attic, and I keep saying addict, an attic, and I moved in there because I just wanted to get as far away as I can from this freaking person. He was just a monster, to be honest with you. He would make us sit up all night. Like, mind you, this was like year 3, year 4, year 5. Okay, we'd like sit around him, because he was like a really bad drunk, and he hated my mum so much. Like, that was his passion, is how much he hated my mum. So he talked so much freaking shit about my mum, but we couldn't move. You couldn't even go to toilet, nothing. Like, we had to sit there and like listen to him. I had to turn the aircon on because it's so freaking hot in here. Anyway, yeah, so he wouldn't let us like move. You literally had to sit there like a freaking statue while he spoke shit about my mum, and then let me know, me especially, I don't know why he like always associated me with my mum. I was very attached to her, so I did cry like for fucking months and months and months after she left, because I was so attached to her. I mean, she was the person that I grew up with, even though she wasn't the best mother out there. She's still the only family that we knew. So, you know, and I mean, she's my mum. So yeah, the only way I can explain it is I was very attached to her, and obviously like having her like taken away from us, it was really, really hard. It took its toll on me. and he hated that. He wanted me to get over that. So he'd hate when I cry, even though I was in my room, and like I'd try and cry silently so he wouldn't know, but he hated it so much. So when he'd make us like sit around him while he was drinking at night, he would say, oh, your mum's a drugger, your mum's this, that, you know, like everything under the sun. He's like, and you're gonna grow up to be just like her. You're gonna be like at the station with a needle in your arm. This is my dad when I was like in year 4, year 5. Anyway, you can imagine why I freaking hated him so much. So I tried to run away. By that time, by year 5, the refuge had helped my mum locate us. And then he allowed us to go see her every second weekend, which was like heaven, like freedom. Thank God, like we could breathe. And yeah, but like things were getting worse whenever we'd go to see her and then go back to him. It's like he just hated it. He probably like sensed that we were so happy and had the best time, and he hated it. He didn't want to see us happy. So I decided I had enough, and I told my mum. She bought me this like little Nokia phone so I can stay in contact with her. And I said, Mum, I'm gonna leave. And I was in year 5. Like I caught a train from the Picton station and met her halfway there, and we went all the way to St. Mary's. And it was probably like the worst and best decision I ever made for us, for myself and my sisters, because the worst in a sense that, you know, I'm pretty sure my sisters suffered because of it, because he would have like tormented them for sure because of me like escaping him. And the best because I've never felt happier that weekend. But then my sister called me and she was crying, and I knew that, you know, it was so bad for them, so I had to go back. And then yeah, and then not long after, my mum tried, because I told her like what was happening and stuff, and she tried to seek full custody, but the family court decided they're going to do a private interview with myself and my sisters. But mind you, this freaking interview was not private. They freaking wrote every single thing I said, and I stated like, you know, that I had run away and why I ran away, because what he did and what he does, and like so many occasions where like he would like drink and get out of hand and say like myself or my sister wanted to go, my little sister wanted to go to the toilet, and he wouldn't allow us, and my older sister would like intervene and try and stand up for us and stuff like that. He would bash the shit out of her and literally like leave her concussed for days. So yeah, that was that. I wish I had helped her. I was really young, like, you know, and I'm really frazzled, and I still am, even as an adult. Like I can't do confrontation stuff. Like it just makes me really frazzled, and I have like the worst anxiety, thanks to both my parents. But they'll never take accountability for that, because they've actually forgotten. They don't actually remember any of their actions or anything. Even if I try, even if myself or my sisters try and like, you know, just bring up some scenarios and stuff, they don't remember. It's like it never happened to them. Love that. Yet we're the ones who were traumatized, but I remember every single detail, like how the room smelt, how dark it was, like where I could see light in the room or anything like that. Like I just remember all those little details. I don't know. Okay, so mum then goes to seek full custody, and yes, I do a private interview, and I explain exactly what's been happening, you know, at my dad's and stuff, why I don't want to live with him. Like, no, we don't want to live with him, we want to live with my mum. And then they give my dad this full report. Mind you, we're still in his custody at the time. Yeah, it was probably the worst weekend of our life, and he always loves to threaten that he's gonna kill our mum if we don't choose him. Like this was literally his words before we went into the courtroom to have these interviews. Anyway, the court somehow also decided to grant him every second weekend after everything we've told them. So every second weekend was hell. Like we'd have so much anxiety, we don't want to go there. Like the vibe, everything was so bad, because he hated that we were going there. But it's so weird, he never said, like he said like we have to go there. Like he could have said don't come here, and then he would start to say that, okay, when you guys come, your mum has to pay me for when you guys are here, which reinstates that he only ever wanted us for like settling payment, you know, money. This man, something else, I swear. He just knew not to hurt us, like not to physically touch us, but he would like always like he hated me the most because like obviously in the report it said that I had said this, and I let him know that I ran away because of this and whatever have you, and I'm sure it was like embedded in his mind. So he absolutely hated me, and he would always go to punch, but like punch like the couch right behind my head to scare me. And like I'm sure he really wanted to punch me, but he was just like, oh no, you're gonna tell the police and shit like that. Anyway, after that, after like many incidents like that, decided we don't want to go anymore. Like I didn't even care. None of us cared about the consequence. Like we hated it so much. Like it was like hell, literally. Like why are we being forced to go and experience torture? It was mentally and physically just the worst experience. Anyway, and he didn't even care, so which I was really glad about. I wish we had done that much earlier, but we didn't. I don't know why we put ourselves through fucking torture. This is so long, I don't even know if you're gonna watch it, but I'm still gonna continue because I'm on a roll. I've got verbal diarrhea, so let's keep going. All while like this was happening with my dad, my mum was also still going through so much herself, and unfortunately, and this is like where parents can be really selfish, but she had always put herself, she tried her best, but she didn't have her parents herself, so I understand why like she didn't know how to parent us. But she yeah, like the whole neglect thing was always throughout our childhood. And you know, whilst we were in high school and stuff like that, she started to have a really bad addiction to gambling, and that caused us to become homeless. So year 11 and 12, I spent that in a refuge. And luckily I didn't have to do my HSC for year 12, only because I was barely there. Like I was literally like, we were in and out of motels. That's what housing does at the time, like to try and like give you placements. Otherwise we were living in the car if we didn't have a place to stay, which we did do that for like a couple of weeks, and then yeah, and then we found a temporary placement at a refuge, and then after I graduated, housing found us a home in Mount Druitt, so we went and stayed there, and yeah, like pretty much that's it. But as soon as I got the opportunity, I've always been working like since I was 13, because I never want to rely on anybody. I just like learned that from a very young age, you cannot rely on anybody. So since I was like 13, I went and did like a cash and hand job just so I can have money and not have to ask my mum for nothing, because she was the type of person, you know, do you know people that have an addiction, especially gambling, they love to like dangle something in front of you and like rip it away. That's what my mum used to be like. I'm not saying she's like that now, and it doesn't mean I don't love her. I do love her so much. I respect the fact that she's a mother, and I know how hard it is because I'm a mum myself, but I just would never do that to my kids, like ever. Anyways, that taught me a big lesson in life, and it's to trust nobody. You have only yourself to depend on, and I learned that from a very young age. So 13, I started working at a cash and hand job at a clothes shop, and then when I turned 14, I applied to Woolies, and I worked there. Even when we were homeless, like at a refuge, I would like catch the bus, train, and go to work so I can make my own money, because my mum's gambling got really bad at that time when I was in year 11 and 12, that she you know, like I had to, like, my sister would cover the rent, she was working thankfully, and I would cover all the food expenses and like money for my little sister or whatever she needed for school and stuff like that. And then at the same time, I was dating the girl's dad. So I dated him in year 8, and then we broke up, and then we started dating in year 10. We've been on and off since then. I'm 33 now, so since year 10. And yeah, so my mom's gambling like got so bad, and you know, I had to make sure that I could be someone I could depend on. So when we were in housing, after school, after I graduated, immediately I applied to my current job, which is at the bank. And as soon as I made enough money, I got us out of housing, which probably was the worst thing I ever did, because I should have let my mum at least have somewhere to stay, because she regrets leaving there. So, you know, I hate to be blamed for that. I just wanted a better place for my daughter, because I had Ava when I was 20 years old. and I just wanted a safe place for my child, like a better environment. I had like literally like drug dealers on either side of me, and people would like knock on my door in the day, like at 9 a.m. asking for like this and this. I'm like, bro, you've got like the wrong house. I feel like my mum is like my sister's child, my older sister's child, because my sister's been like literally raising her since she was 4 years old. So that's that, guys. I hope that explains a lot. I actually really want to tell you of when my dad met the girls. It was like an experience I definitely never ever want anyone else to ever have. I don't know why I put myself through that. I don't know if you understood anything I've said, but I hope it explains to you why I am the way I am. That is just my experience, and that is probably why I'm such an anxious, indecisive, all over the shop kind of person, because I'm still working through my traumas, and I'm still healing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish my KFC because, as I said, I can't do 2 things at once. But please tell me that you guys dip your chip into your gravy and then dip it into your coleslaw. Delicious. See you, bye.